can make it happen.
All right, we're back, guys.
Are we back? Is it good now? Can you open up the comments real quickly,
Yeah,
Joe?
the
so
comments. Yeah, give me 1 second. Right here.
All right.
Who is that handsome Italian guy? Get him on more. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I don't even know where to start anymore, bro.
No, give it a
we were talking about Scott Lebedo. Is it good now? So who is that?
That was me.
Okay, that was you.
There we go.
Jeez. All right, we're good.
Now
No.
someone's phone is on.
Somebody's phone is on? Was that you, Joe?
That's not me.
Okay.
It was one of you guys, wasn't it? All right, of course it was. This is what happens when you have a live studio audience as well. All right, so we were talking about Scott Lebedo.
Yes.
So, liberal family.
Yes.
Conservative guy, artsy guy, living in New York, living in a Democratic state, living in a Democratic city. But then, when I watched I haven't seen I haven't seen the documentary you made on that one.
Thank you for being supportive. I appreciate that.
Sorry, brother. Sorry,
really, really good.
But I saw when you.
I came here for Armand. That's it. That's it.
But when I watched the trailer for that one, you're looking at it and you're just like, holy shit, bro! This guy was out in the streets, and one of the messages that he said was he's gonna paint an American flag on every single building, basically.
On a building in every city and in every state that is considered a United State. He went and painted not just an American flag, like a very gorgeous 3D kind of really cool American flags. He actually painted one on the top of a 400,000 square foot building, which is in the Guinness Book of World Records on the top of it. So he's badass. I mean, he's painted President Trump, in many different ways, and President Trump has signed it, and people have paid a lot of money for that. So
when did he wake up, or when did he take the red pill?
He's been doing this for 35 years, seeing that all this wokeness was coming. He saw the political correctness machine. Director who directed our movie as well, Christopher Martini, saw that Scott had the chops and said, hey man, I'm going to follow you. So he followed him for 6 years. And basically just compiled all this information. And I think it's a fantastic documentary. Of course, some outlets didn't pick it up the way that we wanted. They used, the fact that Scott has a potty mouth, if you will. He likes to get his point across. So they use that angle of why not. But it's a really, really, everybody who sees it raves about it. It's a fantastic documentary. And it literally led us into having this documentary, The Man You Don't Know, into play.
And we actually have a trailer that we're going to be playing of The Man You Don't Know. Joe,
yes, we do. Let's try this challenge right now.
Joe, don't fuck it up, Joe.
Give me 1 second.
So this is basically a documentary produced by Joshua and his team, and it's going to be released within the next couple of weeks.
October 25th.
There you
Tickets go on sale the 16th.
So
25th or 2nd?
The 22nd, you're with us. The movie goes 25th.
Oh, the Friday, okay.
And then Joe, make sure it's restream.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
The greatest threat the world faces.
It's destructive to our democracy to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
He has to be eliminated.
That he is a misogynist, homophobic, racist.
Eliminated.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look.
You want me to tell you something about Donald Trump that the media doesn't know? How about this? He's a wonderful human being.
My father's a man who has a heart of gold, and it's a side that a lot of America does see, and a side that the media doesn't want you to see.
This is a guy running for president. He had no place else he would rather be than right there with his granddaughter in her pre-K class.
He's a very generous, honest, nice guy.
He's done a lot of incredible things for a lot of people, but he's not willing to take credit for it.
My only child, he was hit head-on by an illegal alien with 2 felony convictions, and I started to become suicidal. As I was telling him about losing my best friend, I could see him tear up. Donald Trump didn't just save my life, He helped me share my Dominic.
He is actually very relatable.
Hello, everybody.
When you break him down, he's actually just a regular guy. He's a great athlete, loves to watch sports.
He's a really good golfer. He's crushing hot dogs on the course.
What's your specialty today?
He's an all-American type person. He loves good casual food.
He does like his chocolate bars.
The deals we have with other countries are unbelievably bad.
He can't stand to see things not done the right way.
You should be rewarded for competence and capability in doing a job.
When you look at what he's gone through, them trying to break him, trying to kill him, he's still out there fighting.
This guy has been tested in every possible way. It's inspiring.
I'll call him on the phone as a friend and be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Unfazed.
He threatens this entire system of the corruption that is the U.S. government.
With all of these forces coming against him, not for a moment did he ever show that insecurity or fear that someone might feel when they don't know what's going to happen to them tomorrow. And that is who Donald Trump is.
Ooh.
That's powerful.
Oh, dude. Listen, I've watched that a million times. I love that. That trailer's badass. I'm sorry. Shout out to my team, Chris Martini, Frank Torcha, the great Arthur Sarkissian, my partner, did all the Rush Hour movies. He's one of a kind. And Dave Wilson, the editor, was brilliant. I mean, we had this guy, Chad Campbell, and Michael Giantonio. I mean, dude, the team was, and they're all us. My whole team is us.
I saw Eric. I saw Don Jr.
Yep.
Dana was there. Hogan was there.
Lara Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and his granddaughter Kai. When we saw Kai at the RNC, I was like, we called Don Jr.'s people, like, look, we want her too. They're like, well, she's part of the family. Make us a deal. So, we said we got to have her, and she was absolutely brilliant.
You know what's interesting? As the trailer was playing, it reminded me of, he recently did an interview with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
And the first question Andrew asked was, how did you raise such wonderful kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
His answer had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Not once did he say, yeah, because I was a great father. I raised them right. The first few minutes he spent talking about how wonderful his kids were. Nothing about him. And that's the thing. When the media portrays him as this narcissist, the first thing he would do is say, yeah, I was a great father. We had money. Of course, they were going to do great. They went to Wharton School of Business and blah, blah, blah. But not once did he talk about himself.
Listen, what we learned in this documentary, and yeah, you have all the kids and you have all the names you mentioned, that we're showing his sides that they talk about, but the philanthropic humanitarian side of him, he doesn't talk about it unless it's brought up to him. He doesn't come out and say, look what I did for these people. He doesn't do that. All these people, I mean, you're going to learn in the movie that he saved a farm that's been an American family for generations, that somebody lost it on their watch and the guy killed himself, and Trump went and bought the deed and handed the farm to the family. Things like that, like not no little cheap, like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, there was that one story, the guy where Trump was stranded in the middle of the road in his limo with a flat tire.
Yeah.
And the guy pulled over, helped him, and then the next day he got the deed to his home.
And how that story goes is the guy didn't want nothing. The guy said, Donald Trump says, I got to give you something. And Donald Trump outwitted the guy. He said, buy my wife some flowers. He goes, well, I need the address to know where to send it. And basically he then wound up paying off the house. So that's how that, a lot of people don't know that real story. That's how it really went. The guy's like, nope, I don't know. We're kind. We help people in my neck of the woods and this. He goes, well, I got to do something. He goes, well, buy my wife some flowers. Okay, give me the address. And he wound up noticing that the family needed money and he bought the deed to the house and gave it to him.
So why doesn't even the likes of Fox cover the farm story or this story about the flat tire situation?
Listen, when I tell you a number, it's what we've uncovered is above 40 of these kind of stories. Above 40 of this kind of acts. People can't afford medicine. And he goes and pays monthly bills for them that are 10, 18,000 a month sometimes. You know, these are the stories that you're not hearing that this man does. And as Don Jr. said in that clip, he's not willing to talk about it. When it gets brought up to him, he'll acknowledge it in a way like, yeah, so what? I paid off a mortgage. So what? You know what I mean? He tries to brush it off. He doesn't do it in a way like you said, if you're narcissistic, I did that, you know? We were supposed to have him in this movie. And, you know, when we watched all of these people talk about him, we realized it would be the greatest mistake ever to have him come, because then he's sticking his chest out. And not knowingly, he would be doing it unorganically, like, it's about me. You know, you don't want that. We chose, and it was a shocker to everybody. It's like, wait a minute, everybody wants him. You're the one group. I said, well, we're really trying to help him win. And in the initial title, we titled it Donald J. Trump, the man you don't know. And I realized, hey man, there's going to be people that I want them to change their opinion of him a little bit. I think this movie will do that. If I put his name, it might scare him away. I might not get those people to even go watch it. You know, so we just made it the man you don't know.
I think it's a brilliant move, because the society we live in today, you even mention Trump, for some reason a lot of people get triggered.
Yeah.
They get triggered to the moment where it's just they don't even want to listen to anything you're saying about him. Even the good.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, YouTube alone, we noticed this literally a couple days ago, where if we mention the word Trump, our podcast can't be monetized.
Yeah.
We can't boost it. We had a narcissistic therapist on last week. Great conversation. At the tail end of the podcast, Armand mentioned, you know, what do you think of Trump? Do you think he's a narcissist? Didn't get into any political talk. Didn't talk about anything, foreign affairs, anything like that. But the word Trump was mentioned. And all of a sudden, you know what? You can no longer boost the post. You can no longer get monetization. Why?
Yeah. You know, it's Trump derangement syndrome exists. And I've seen it affect people who are some of the smartest human beings I've known in my life. Look, I have people on my team who are very close to me, I'll say. And they were raised in very good, you know, school systems here, private schools. And they had an opinion that they had on this man. And after spending the last year doing these topics with the family, they completely realized we might have been wrong, because they saw the sides. When you mentioned the kids, they were the most professional group of people that we worked with. They basically came and said, hey, listen, this is our job. What do you need from us? Let us help you. Let us do what we're doing. Let's make this project, because a lot of people pitched them, let's do this, let's do that. And we said, no, we want to tell a story by people that the world doesn't know about, talking about a man that they've never heard these stories with. And they chose us. They said, okay, we're going to do it with you guys. And they did. I got to say, the way they were on time, stayed extra, was that good? Can we do anything else? So professional. I was shocked. I was like, dude, these are billionaire kids. And they're acting like so professional, like, not get out of here. You know, you only got this much time. I mean, Don Jr., we made late to an appointment. You know, he just wanted to stay. And they're so seasoned, so professional, all of them, even all the way down through, you know, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Kai, every one of them, professional people.
I mean, you look at his youngest son, Barron, right? The kid's 18 years old, and you don't see him speak a lot. But when you do see him speak, you can tell he's being raised by the right people. And I've actually heard that his big brothers, John Jr. and Eric, are, you know, they're playing a big role as the big brothers in that family. And to help raise such a great kid, because in the beginning when Trump became president back in 2020, or I'm sorry, in 2016, Barron was a little boy.
No.
Unfortunately, the media and a lot of the left were like, oh, look, there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him. He's a small little boy. He's a young little kid, 12 years old, and his dad just became president. It's a massive shocker to him that he's got all these cameras around him. Yes. Not that there weren't cameras around him back then, but now, I mean, his dad went from, TV to like, holy shit, he's running a country now.
Yeah.
Secret Service is constantly around him. And to be able to rise up and become the kid that he is today, I see him traveling, and I see him taking his father's footsteps and actually running for president in the future.
Listen, he not only that, all those points you made are great. They were threatened from the moment he announced. I'm going to spill some tea here. There's a great story we learned in the documentary that everybody knows, the famous escalator ride. Oh, the escalator. Once he came down the escalator.
Yeah.
Before that, there was a famous elevator ride, literally right before the escalator ride. So all the family's up in Trump Tower, and he tells them, I'm doing this. I'm running for president. And they were like, really? It's not an apprentice stunt or not? No, I'm running for president. And they were like, all right, well, we'll support you. So they all take the elevator down. All of them fit, big elevator. And it's silence all the way from the top down. And right before they get out, he says, now we're going to see who our friends are and who our enemies are. They knew from that moment that things were going to be different. So their lives were threatened, if you will, from that moment. So imagine you're gonna protect your young children in that regard, and I thought they did a great job of being a family, being a unit, and that's what I see. They're a very good family.
Yeah, it's incredible that you mentioned that, the elevator ride. I didn't know that story. And I think that goes not only towards the Trump family, but I think it goes to society as well. Look at how much has changed in the matter of 6 to 8 years. The people that you think who are your friends and have your morals, have your values, have your principles, don't.
Yeah.
A lot has changed, especially after COVID as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's put politics aside for a moment here. If you look at, there's close to 3,000 billionaire families across the world, right? And I think roughly about 900 or so in the U.S., which is a majority. How many of those families' kids are semi-normal?
Yeah.
And this is what bothers me the most. The media pretty much has gone after his family the day he announced he was going to run for president. But prior to that, since the 80s, you got the Oprahs, the Donahues, everybody just on their knees wanting to interview this guy. He was on every talk show, every late night show, every music video, right? He was admired by everybody.
Yeah.
Yet his kids turn out pretty normal. But if you look at most other billionaire families, their kids are drug addicts, right? They spend money left and right, waste their family wealth, generational wealth. And that's why majority of generational wealth disappears within 2 generations. Doesn't matter how many billions you've got. But his family, his kids have been able to sustain that and keep that reputation. Yet the moment he became president or he decided to go into politics, all of a sudden, he's the worst guy on the planet. What do you think? Why do you think that is? I mean, what?
I believe that Dave Chappelle did a great monologue on Saturday Night Live that explained a lot. Once you're behind the door with everybody and you start to realize, wait a minute, there's some things here that are not right, and you come out and say, do you guys know what's going on back there? They turn on you. Because to follow up with the elevator story, as soon as they come down the escalator, he makes his announcement. They think, oh my God, he gave the greatest speech ever. This is all inside information that you're going to see in the documentary. And they get upstairs, and the secretaries and assistants are in tears because immediately people are starting to call and cancel their memberships at their country clubs. Immediately. It was a switch that just happened. Immediate, because he went to the Republican Party, and I think people started to realize, some things are going to change. Some things in our lives are going to change. And the man is, listen, when he was in military school, he was the captain. He was a captain. Always a leader. Always had leadership qualities. You learn that in this documentary. You learn about his grandparents. You learn about his parents. the things that made him become the person he is. Oh, his dad just gave him. There's a lot deeper to the just giving. It was his dad. It was a deal. It was the way we were raised. The way Armenians, Italians, the way we were raised. I'll help you, but you're going to work for it.
So it wasn't a small loan of $1 million.
Listen. Let's even say I'm not breaking that. You guys watch the movie. Let's say it's in a loan that we would all hope to have. It doesn't matter. There was strict. You had to perform. You had one. You don't perform, you're out. That's it. He had to step up.
There was a contingency there.
Yeah, he had to perform, and his dad was on the premises every day as Trump Tower was being built. Every day.
Because Cenk from the Young Turks constantly brings up, oh, he's a spoiled brat. The dad gave him $413 million.
Never. No, wasn't that. So this is what I will say to everybody that says that. There are more people that lose millions, even into the hundreds. You can name every athlete that has lost hundreds of millions of dollars than turning it into billions. Do you understand that the gift of being able to sustain that? And all the schmucks out there that say, well, he bankrupt companies. Well, certain companies are built to be bankrupted after they exhaust themselves. There are certain things that are put into play, which is why you have these companies built a certain way, because they're going to live out a certain time, and then you bankrupt them after you've made what you got to made on them. Happens all the time in business.
Well, not only made what you've had to make, but there's certain products that just don't work out.
Right.
And that's the beauty of capitalism, and that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur is, hey, his company might have gone bankrupt, whether it was Trump steak or Trump whatever the hell it was, but hey, were you the one coughing up the money to
listen?
start the guy.
Listen, I always tell people, the guy's a big failure. He has his name on buildings all over the world, and he was president of the United States. What a fucking loser he is. You know what I'm saying?
One of 46 people in the world to have his name as a president. But he succeeded in entertainment, right? He had 14 seasons of Apprentice?
At one time, it was the longest lasting. So you conquered development world. You conquer entertainment world, and then you make it to the highest place. He didn't say, oh, I want to go be a mayor. Oh, I want to go get a senator. He went after being a president, and Mike dropped it on the first try. Are you kidding me?
And even during his interview with Oprah, when Oprah said, do you have any aspirations to run for president? He said, no. This was in 1988. Mm-hmm. He said, no, but if I ever do, I will win.
Yeah. He said, I wouldn't go into it to lose. I don't go into anything to lose. Yes. And that's really who he is. Look, man, does he... I'm so sick and tired of the tweets and all that. Listen, man, I got Trump fingers when it comes to tweeting. I get Trump fingers. There's times I have gone ballistic. I had to catch myself, and do that. And when you see things you don't like it, you say it, and I believe in my heart, he likes to say it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because he does something that a lot of other presidents in the past, if not all of them, he communicates to the people directly. He does. And some things you might not like how it's said, but it don't mean it's not true.
Yeah.
See, here's, and that's the thing, when people bring up his bankruptcies, the IRS wrote the law, right? Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. There's a reason behind it. A lot of multi-billion dollar companies that are even publicly traded have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcies. If you read up on it, it means you're pausing all your debts, you're reorganizing your debts, your financials. That's what it means.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies take advantage of that.
Yes.
So for anybody to say, well, he's a failure because he has 6 bankruptcies, no, you're a failure because you've never even started your own business to even understand what a bankruptcy means.
Correct.
It's not necessarily you're going out of business. And even if you are, it's because, again, you're taking advantage of the tax laws. Just like he told Hillary during their debate, he said, listen, you guys created the loopholes. I just took advantage of it.
I take advantage of the same tax laws that your donors do. How do I know? Because I was one of your donors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he says it. If you don't like what I'm doing, then change the tax code. But you won't. because your donors are taking advantage of exactly what I am.
And it really mind boggles me that people don't see that. It mind boggles me that they're like, he took abortion away from. No.
Oh, give me a break,
what he
bro.
did was very simple. He said every state has a choice. I'm giving that state the ability to vote on it. And if they vote for abortion, then that's what it is, and deal with it. He didn't go and say, oh, I'm taking. No, he put it back in the hands. He made each state its own little country in that one.
Which is how the Constitution was written.
Exactly.
Well, not only that, my argument to that is when people blow their mind and they go, oh my God, he reversed Roe v. Wade, right?
Yeah.
So you want the abortion laws to be handled by a bunch of old men in Washington,
right,
rather than the politicians that you can vote into locally in your state. In my opinion, if you want to have full control over abortion, have the right representatives represent you in your state instead of the old geezers in Washington handle it for you.
Yeah.
I don't think the old men in Washington should have any say in abortion.
Look, I'm such a man of God. I'm on my knees praying 3 times a day, I if not more. And I raise my kids differently. I say, I don't let that topic become ours to choose. I raise them the right way because I let them know that if you make that choice, then you got to deal with a higher power later. That's what I believe. I lose a lot of my conservative friends with that. Oh, wait a minute. That's just my belief. If you make that choice, then you're going to have to face God.
Yeah. The argument behind that is they talk about incest, they talk about rape, they talk about, sexual abuse. That's the card that they're playing when it comes to the abortion game.
But Trump discussed all that during even Andrew Schultz. He said, look, I understand if you've been raped, incest, this and that. He discussed all that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Andrew Schultz's podcast is not a political podcast. It's the most, I guess, lax, relatable podcast you can think of, right?
It's like a comedy show.
The guy's a comedian, yeah. And Trump was funnier than all those comedians on the show, hosting the show. But he discussed all that as far as, look, I'm not fully against abortion. Of course, there's exceptions. He said there's exceptions. That's why I've given the rule of law to every single state. It shouldn't be a federal mandate.
If you don't like what it is in California, move somewhere else. I mean, it's that simple. And that's what he did. And that's the biggest misconception of people that go after him for that topic. Look.
Well, very quickly, the thing about California is pro-abortion.
Mm-hmm.
There were people out in the streets of LA protesting Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
The fuck are you guys protesting about? You can go to a clinic and get an abortion if you want to do it. By all means, it's a free country. Do whatever you want. If you can't do it in your state, yeah, you can go to another state and do it. Listen, if you want to have an abortion, God be with you at this point. But there are certain morals and certain values and certain principles that people have where you have to respect it as well.
Listen, California allows 6-year-old kids to go get sex changes without telling their parents. I mean, this place is it's special, is what I like to say. Gavin Newsom is quite special, and I don't mean that in the way it sounds. I mean,
we're the guinea pig.
I mean, dude, the fact that you don't need an ID by law to vote here is really odd.
It's racist, bro.
Racist. Dude, it's. I mean, I don't care. Let me say something, man. If you have to use an ID to get on a plane, and you have to use an ID to do all these things, then you need an ID to vote. I mean, I'm sorry. It's such a big thing. And I think it's ridiculous when you see folks argue that. I mean, they know it's right. They know it's right. And the reason they're arguing it because if anybody other than Trump was pushing that, they would be for it. If their party was pushing that, they would be behind it. It's really sad. And to see people get behind a man almost being assassinated several times and wanting him to have been killed and thinking that's a good thing. Dana White says, you'll see it. He says in the movie, he says, I don't care who you are. You cannot be happy when a former president and current guy running is almost killed. Otherwise, you're a traitor. You're a traitor.
Now, you spent time with Donald Trump, right?
March, yeah.
How was your interaction with him? What was your experience like with him? Because none of us have obviously spent time with him.
So we were there for 4 days at Mar-a-Lago. We took the whole joint down. So it was so funny. We get there. The first day we get there, it's early in the morning. Mar-a-Lago's not even open yet, and my crew rented probably every room there. I mean, we went with everybody. And it's like 7 o'clock. We're starting to get food. They're serving us at a great restaurant they have there. And all of a sudden, I feel this presence behind me. It's him. And this man is so sharp that he knew we were there for our event and that we took the whole place. Look at these beautiful people. He comes out, my family all there, and he goes and he's shaking hands and taking pictures. You guys must be the ones. I said, yeah, we're the ones throwing the party. So we got a little time with them. But that next evening, we took the whole restaurant. We took the whole place. And he comes out, realizes we're there, and we get about a good 15-minute conversation. That was the first time I got to talk to him. And I said, look, man, I'm a media company. I'm a conservative media company in Hollywood, and I am here to help you make America great again. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then it's so funny. My wife, not knowing how to be, comes running up with her cell phone in the air, almost gets tackled by Secret Service. I'm like, no, she's with me. She's with me. But she goes, and my husband's Italian. I love Italians. It's really, really. But to sit there and talk with him and to see his focus to me, he was focused on everything I was saying, cared about everything. Narcissistic people, they want to talk about themselves all the time. He gave me the floor. And gave me a great conversation the first time that I got to really talk with him. And then the next night we had our event, and he came to the event, and it was again just a magical. I mean, the dude. I've been around the most famous people in the world. I'd never seen nothing like this. I mean, we had 22 billionaires at our event. They're standing with cameras. He floated in. I mean, it was like he was floating in.
You felt an aura.
It was unbelievable. And luckily, I checked myself. I was like, you know what? And he put the hand out, and I was not going to let him pull me in for the handshake. I met him halfway. Joe Rogan got taken. I didn't get taken. I shook his hand 4 times, and each time I held my own. But I will say this. If I would have shook Joe Biden's hand like I shook his hand, I would have ripped his arm off. That man, 6'2", 6'3", strong. I mean, the man is strong. I mean, I was very impressed with that. I even, in my head, was like, yo, this dude, he's something.
I mean, you saw that video of him pulling Vladimir Putin in.
Yeah, the former KGB judo master.
Oh man, have you seen that video?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Who else? He pulls Vladimir in. He slaps MBS on the back, Mohammed bin Salam. I mean, this dude just don't. But that's the leader you want. You want the leader that's like, that's who you want running the most powerful country in the world, And when you look back on his 4 years, whether he gets another 4 or not, and I think, he clearly is going to be the winner. When you see what he's done, the world was at peace. Our country was better. I mean, everything about us was better. And, and that's with the hatred. The man never got a full, fair 4 years to run this thing. Imagine if it was like when we were young, America, where, all right, you just accepted that he's your president and let's get behind our president. What could he have done?
It's unfortunate that the Democratic Party and a lot of the people that are following this broken roller coaster, as I like to call it, which eventually the track's going to end and they're all going to fall to their demise. But the Democratic Party and the people behind it are completely brainwashed to the point where they say, I'd rather have Kamala as our president and live a shitty life and continue to pay high taxes than have a rapist in office. The Democrats have done a phenomenal job.
Rapist? Where did that come from?
What do you mean? Really? A Nazi, a rapist?
You
what
could
else?
Call him a convicted felon.
Well, now they call him a convicted felon. That's the playing card.
Rapist. He hasn't.
Yeah.
Never convicted of that.
Well, they've said it before, man.
Of course they have.
Look, listen. Here's the problem.
Look, they called the guy Hitler. I mean,
when you say something long enough and frequent enough, what happens?
They believe it.
People begin to believe it. Yeah. You had Joe Biden, and it was actually inside your documentary's trailer where they said, we got to take him out.
Eliminate him.
Motherfuckers.
Somebody's got to put a bullet. That was on MSNBC.
Yes.
Somebody's got to put a bullet in Donald Trump, is what they said.
If you say that to the public on national TV, on MSNBC, on CNN, on all these bullshit networks that are going on right now, you say that enough, there are crazy people out in this world that will believe that.
Yeah.
And they will go out and commit that.
Yeah.
We saw it on July 13th. What happened? You had a moron go out there, get on top of a roof, and shoot at a former president, a candidate who's running for current office. Yeah. And you had a 70, how old is he right now?
78.
Yep.
78-year-old man fall down. Secret Service completely covers him. And instead of being wheeled out or thrown into a Secret Service limo, he gets up and he says, fight, fight, fight. If that had happened to Joe Biden, we would have never seen him.
No, well, he wouldn't have moved his head.
Well, that as well.
I mean,
He wouldn't have moved his head. And
we haven't seen Joe Biden regardless.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have seen
Basement Joe.
But I mean, they've thrown everything at him. And we talked about this on a previous show, and I'll mention it to you. Andrew Tate brought something up where he mentioned there's 3 things they try to do to you. Number 1, they try to cancel you, which they did. He was off of Twitter. He was off of all social media. Second thing they tried to do is try to throw you in jail, which they tried to do. And if all else fails, they try to kill you.
Yeah.
And I love your shirt.
Oh, that's right. It says,
"You missed, bitch."
Thank you.
See, the biggest, I guess, hypocrisy that I have is when MSNBC, CNN, Kamala, all these guys, Obama, Biden, Oprah, he's a threat to democracy. Okay? Sure. For a moment, let's say I agree with you. He's a threat to democracy. What is the simplest definition of democracy? Is fair elections, right? Yes. So, please elaborate. I'm a stupid moron. I support Trump. I have no understanding of anything. How did Kamala Harris become the nominee?
Listen, though,
Through a fair election?
you just said something interesting. They keep repeating that we live in a democracy. No, we don't. We live in a republic.
Of course.
You know, and they keep, again, like saying that same thing over and over again because they have to say what they're getting ready to do to you, okay? So what happened? Exactly where you were leading to. We have 2 people in places that they shouldn't be because it wasn't part of our system to put them there. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how this started. They were supposed to be voted there. They were supposed to be voted there, and they were not. And, you know, right now, to me...
When you say 2 people, who are you referring to?
Kamala Harris and Waltz.
Right, okay.
There should have been a vote by the Democrats to all come...
So is that a threat to democracy?
Dude, that is breaking all the rules of what our system stands for.
That's my point.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly my point.
Yes.
When you talk about Trump being a threat to democracy, did he not go through the primaries? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't join the debates because, would you? I mean, if you're in this position, former president, are you going to go debate against DeSantis and Vivek and Nikki Haley and everybody else? No, you're not.
But what does it tell you that he, on this run, with everything he's been through, was elected to be the guy representing?
Well, not only that, how many of the candidates that he was running against in the Republicans ended up endorsing him?
All of them.
And again,
excuse me, and one very big endorsement.
And go ahead,
Kennedy, Robert Kennedy Jr.
Dude, you had Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard as well.
Yeah,
come out who were former Democrats and endorse.
Excuse
Trump.
me, long life, like as big a Democrat family as you can get.
Bobby Kennedy and his family, if you go back in history all the way to, his uncle John F. Kennedy, who was murdered, Democrat. His father, Robert Kennedy, murdered. Now, it's him, Democratic Party, and he says it, and Tulsi Gabbard says it. I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me.
Yeah.
That's how far left they've gone.
Listen, Bill Maher, who hates Donald Trump, we can say that, hates him.
Yeah.
Even calls his own party out nowadays and can't understand what they're doing. Michael Rappaport, who hates Donald Trump, actually came out and said voting for Trump is in my wheelhouse.
Michael Moore.
Yes.
Bro,
Right?
Chris Cuomo.
Yeah. Apologized to Donald Trump for all the misinformation that he learned today and that he reported on him. I mean, these are people. So what do they become? They're traitors now. They're not like, imagine that. Not that they woke up and saw the light and had common sense. They're traitors.
Traitors to who?
Exactly. To the...
That's what a lot of people need to wake up and realize. Traitors to who?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they traitors to? What does the Democratic Party favor more? Do they favor the people or do they favor their pockets?
Yeah.
See, here's what
I think they favor their freedom. I think
their freedom.
Yeah, because I think that with Donald Trump in office, a lot of their schemes get brought to light. And I think that that's what the biggest fear is. Look, Elon Musk did a great interview with Tucker Carlson. And he said, I think why all these big Silicon Valley Fortune 500 companies are backing her is because they don't want Epstein's client list to come out.
Yep.
I mean, that's the richest man in the world saying that.
That's true. But if you notice, even Silicon Valley has shifted towards Trump, a portion of them.
A portion.
Which is great. But if I were Donald Trump, again, it's hard to say, look, if I were Donald Trump, if I were this, because none of us are billionaires, none of us have succeeded on the different platforms he has. So when people say, look, if I were him, I wouldn't tweet what he tweets. If I were him, I wouldn't speak the way I speak. I'd be more diplomatic. But at the end of the day, that's what makes him who he is. That's what made him succeed in Manhattan, the most gruesome real estate town you can think of across the world.
Yeah.
The guy succeeded in Manhattan in real estate. It's the most cutthroat real estate.
Listen, I always go back. I go back to faith, bro. If God always picked His imperfect people to do some amazing things, if you ever believe in Scripture, it's happened through all of time, and for this time of our existence, no matter these are the only two candidates we have. There's nobody that can take on this wrath like him. He showed it. Think about it. We talked about the assassination attempt. A lot of people don't know if there's other shooters. They don't know if that guy was caught. There's still bullets whizzing. You don't know. For him to get up and do what he did was unbelievable. It was arguably one of the greatest things, if not the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's cemented in the history of the United States, if not the world.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is what I would do differently maybe is I would say, listen, it's not about me. It's not about the Republican Party. It's not about the Democratic Party. It's not about socialism, independent, any of that. It's about the United States of America, which, look, people blame him for being a nationalist. I don't. You need to be a nationalist. As a president, as a prime minister of your country, however your parliament is set up, your government, you need to be a nationalist.
Well, when you got Muslim groups on the street saying death to America and waving their flags, I think it's time to be a nationalist.
Well, it's not just Muslim groups. Look, you're a father, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you a nationalist, a familialist, however you to your family?
Absolutely.
Does your family come first?
Absolutely.
My family come first. Does your family come first?
Absolutely.
So if you're the president, your family is the United States of America. They should come first. Not the migrants, not Israel, not Iran, not Ukraine.
What do they tell you when you're on an airplane? Put your oxygen mask on first so you can help your family.
Exactly.
We need the same mentality to do that. And I'll tell you, when we made this movie, people say, "What is this movie about? Is it about him? Is it about?" I said, "It's a love story." Everybody, even the Trump family, they said, "Pitch us. It's a love story." What do you mean, love story? What are you talking about? I said, "It's a love story about a man for his family and his country." That's what the movie really is. It's a love story. He loves his family and he loves this country, and he'll do anything to preserve it.
And that's what resonates with me as a father. I was born in Armenia, right? Armenian descent. As Patrick David says, America made me who I am. I grew up here. I owe all my success to the United States, not to Armenia. Armenia didn't give me much, except my culture, which is a huge deal for me, for my family. My 2 boys, they're raised as Armenian Americans, not as Americans. But at the end of the day, if I had to fight for a country, if we were in World War, God forbid, I'm fighting for America because this is where my family is. I have to protect my family, not the country I come from, where I was born. I didn't choose to be Armenian. I love the fact that I'm Armenian. But today, my parents chose to bring me to the United States, and I chose to remain in the United States. Now, tomorrow, if I decide to move to Armenia, then I will fight for the country of Armenia. But as of today, I reside in the United States, which means I am going to fight for the United States because this is where I have everything I've established is in the United States.
And you're doing that, by the way. You guys don't realize this. There's a war, and you guys are patriots right now. And what are you doing? You're not using a gun. You're not using weapons. You're using your voice. You're using a platform to fight.
Yeah.
That's really what's going on right now. And you're reaching out to the culture that you were born in. That's the number one. And hoping to expand further, which is how you guys get the Patrick Bet-Davids and all that, because people recognize we need to, look, the deep state, and I hate to say Democrats, because it's not just, people always give the rhinos a pass. You know, they always give all these Republican people a pass, where in fact, the reality is it's the deep state. The deep state is better at being evil than the good guys are at being good. That's why it seems like they're winning right now.
Yeah. Very quickly, we got a poll coming up. Guys, vote very quickly. I know some of you are joining in late. If you guys want to see the trailer one more time, which I think, you know, in all honesty, we're midway through the show. I think we should actually play the trailer. Let's play the trailer one more time.
Actually, the poll's up there. We have a few more. I just want to give a few people a little bit of chance to actually vote.
It's in favor. So if you guys haven't voted, go ahead and vote. It's a YouTube poll. So if you're on Twitter, you want to vote on it, go on YouTube and you could vote on the poll. If you guys want to see the trailer one more time, we'll play it midway through the.
Actually, it's completely in favor. I'm just going to end the poll.
It's in favor, bro. Let's play one because that was a powerful trailer, man.
All right, listen, I could watch it a million more times.
Let's play the trailer one more time, Joe. Is that cool?
That is more than cool. Give me 1 second.
Because it was the music, everything was just phenomenal on it, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, let's do it.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
The greatest threat the world faces.
It's destructive to our democracy to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
He has to be eliminated.
That he is a misogynist, homophobic, racist.
Eliminated.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look. You want me to tell you something about Donald Trump that the media doesn't know? How about this? He's a wonderful human being.
My father's a man who has a heart of gold, and it's a side that a lot of America does see, and a side that the media doesn't want you to see.
This is a guy running for president. He had no place else he would rather be than right there with his granddaughter in her pre-K class.
He's a very generous, honest, nice guy.
He's done a lot of incredible things for a lot of people, but he's not willing to take credit for it.
My only child, he was hit head-on by an illegal alien with 2 felony convictions. And I started to become suicidal. As I was telling him about losing my best friend, I could see him tear up. Donald Trump didn't just save my life. He helped me share my Dominic.
He is actually very relatable.
Hello, everybody.
When you break him down, he's actually just a regular guy. He's a great athlete, loves to watch sports.
He's a really good golfer. He's crushing hot dogs on the course.
What's your specialty today?
He's an all-American type person. He loves good casual food.
He just like his chocolate bars.
The deals we have with other countries are unbelievably bad.
He can't stand to see things not done the right way.
You should be rewarded for competence and capability in doing a job.
When you look at what he's gone through, them trying to break him, trying to kill him, he's still out there fighting.
This guy has been tested in every possible way. It's inspiring.
I'll call him on the phone as a friend and be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Unfazed.
He threatens this entire system of the corruption that is the U.S. government.
With all of these forces coming against him, not for a moment did he ever show that insecurity or fear that someone might feel when they don't know what's going to happen to them tomorrow. And that is who Donald Trump is.
A man you don't know.
Tickets go on sale October 16th in selected theaters, and then all the way through the 25th. They'll be on Fandango and, more and more theaters. I mean, we anticipate starting off the first weekend between 800 and 1,200 screens. So it's pretty big for a conservative movie studio, to have that. And it's in AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all the mains. So,
bro, God willing, this thing blows up to the point where everybody and anybody watches it and takes a couple steps back and understands, holy shit, I was wrong about this guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's our hope. Look, when we made it, we said we wanted to focus on as much left. We know there's going to be some, Trump derangement syndrome, not going to let them come, but as much as we can get from the left, center, over, that's what we want for people. I mean, you look, and let's fast forward. He wins in a landslide. Okay. Let's say he wins in a landslide.
Which he will.
You think it's going to be easy even the first year or two? No, they're going to be plots and this. There's going to be so much. I mean, look, there's rumors. I can't confirm who or what, but there's rumors that even when he was president, they tried to take him out like 12 times, 6 on the ground, 6 in the air. So the man's been up against it forever.
Bro, did you hear one of the latest conspiracy theories about Trump? So listen to this one. All the shit going around with the Boeing planes, the malfunctions, the Mickey Mouse kind of engineering that was going on. So now Boeing is being audited and kind of being investigated. You have founders and chief executives and CEOs and COOs kind of being, put in the hot seat. What is Trump flying in? Boeing.
Yeah.
That's another way they were talking about potentially taking him out. Oh, shit, the plane malfunction.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a Boeing? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So and that's the thing. This is what I always talk about with people is, listen, none of us are policy experts. None of us understand politics. This is all new to us. I didn't even care who our president was until, honestly, Trump. I mean, we started our podcast because of Trump, honestly. Prior to Trump being president, I didn't care. Didn't even know if it was Obama, Bush, or Barbara Walters.
Well, I voted for Obama.
Right. But did you care about politics?
No, but I voted for Obama because I wanted change. I didn't want the Bush regime. I know I'm wearing a Reagan Bush shirt, but hey, listen, there's a lot of shit that we talk about with the Bush regime.
But this is the question I ask people. I'm like, listen, when was the last time a president was attempted to be assassinated?
Reagan.
After that, we've had Bush.
Yep.
We've had Clinton. We've had Obama. Were either of those presidents ever attempted to be assassinated? No. Biden? Absolutely not. He assassinated himself.
Well, when he goes to the bathroom, he's almost killing himself every time. Just walking a flight of stairs, the guy's killing himself. It's a suicide mission.
We call it Khodkoshi.
Yeah. People ask me, they go, God, you guys put him in the trailer falling down. I said, dude, we got him in the movie falling down. Like, you got to show that. I mean, it's like, that's where it shows where our country has gone to.
Finish what you were saying because I got to bring something up.
But here's my question. I asked him, listen, I understand you don't like the guy because, look, he's very vulgar, abrasive. I call him an art, whatever you want. But I think every billionaire is. I've never met a billionaire. Personally, I don't know any billionaires, but I know a lot of very, very multimillionaires, and majority of them are very arrogant. Of course, imagine you being a billionaire. You're 1 out of 3,000 people out of 8.5 billion. Of course, you're going to be arrogant. But I say, listen, ask yourself this simple question: why do you want to take him out like that? Yeah. Why assassinate the guy?
Yeah.
If he's going to lose, let him lose in your world in a democratic way. Let him lose to the elections, not through cheating systems, not through assassination, not through all this other bullshit media. Let him lose in a legit manner. Then I will respect the fact that you support whoever the hell you want to support.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't even want to give this guy a chance to even run for office because you want to eliminate him, as the media says, then I have no respect for you.
Listen, all the cases are falling apart. All the cases are falling apart. The Letitia James case, the money and all that, it went to the New York Supreme Court. It's not going their way. Everybody thought it was going to get to the Maine Supreme Court and Trump was going to have it because he picked them, and it's not even getting past the liberal New York Supreme Court, okay? It's having trouble. You know, why do you think they postponed the sentencing? It's having trouble. He's literally knocking it out of the park one by one, like he knew. And, you know, the most amazing thing, so when we were in Mar-a-Lago in March, it's when he had to pay all that money. He had to pay all that money. That's what it was.
The 400 some million?
Yeah, that's when it was the same time. And we're hanging out with this dude. And I look at my wife and I say, look at that man. Does he look like concerned at all? Like Don Trump does a little thing in our movie, but he's like that. He looks like he's not worried about anything. I was amazed of the focus, of the absolute focus.
You know what's a question you got to ask a lot of people? How much did he pay to people? How much did he pay the courts? What was the amount?
A lot of money, dude.
Where's that money going towards?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just said 400 million, right?
But he hasn't paid his taxes, remember?
This is what I want everybody to ask yourself. Those of you that are center left or even left leaning, that man paid $400 million to the people because it was the people against Trump. Mm-hmm. What are they doing with that $400 million? Ask yourself that question, because New York, I mean, they got the homeless crisis going on. They got a drug crisis going on. There's a bunch of shit going on in New York.
What's their mayor dealing with right now?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm just saying, P. Diddy gets arrested, 150 CEOs step down, mayors are getting indicted. I'm a conspiracy guy, I guess.
These are questions you need to ask yourself, but they're completely blinded by the media because it's kind of like a gotcha moment. I got you. But ask yourself, all right, you got him, and he coughed it up. $400 million is a lot of money. What are they doing with that money?
Yeah.
Are they giving it back to the people?
Well, he coughed it up for now.
Well, what happened is, if you want to know what really happened, he got a bond. So he got what they call a surety bond or an irrevocable trust receipt, which basically a company comes and says, all right, you have the assets, you put a certain percentage down, and we'll bond the money, which they tried to say first, you can't do that, which is, again, trying to take away a right that he has, because a bond is basically dollar for dollar. They're backing it. Doesn't matter.
It's accountable.
It's accountable, you know? So when you start to see, even they were trying to take that away, it's like, dude, it's corruption at the highest.
They want a check. That's what they want.
They want all his financials. And his legal team, all amazing. By the way, Alina Haba, we learned, my wife and I, at Mar-a-Lago, we got to talk to her. She's 25% Armenian.
Yes, we heard about that as well. Yeah. We heard about that as well.
Yeah, so he's got a good team around him.
The only people that got rich in this entire scheme, which that's what I'm going to call it. It's a bold statement. It's a scheme. The only people that got rich were the attorneys, the media, and a bunch of, puppets here and there that were poking the bear.
Well, I mean, it's like saying the only people that got rich in COVID are all the billionaires, right?
And the pharmaceutical companies,
which are billionaires.
And I don't think they're going to keep that money. He's going to fight them. He's going to win that $500 million.
No, it's already happening. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That case is getting ready. That case is getting ready to be broken. And you're going to learn that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You know, and people say it has to do with, dude, it's already last week was at the New York Supreme Court and it's falling apart.
Because I thought that was going to roll into like 2025.
It's going to fall apart. I'm telling you right now, every case, and people are what they're going to say, all the Trump haters, it's because he won and he made it go away. It's happening now. It's happening pre-winning. He's knocking them out of the park before he's even president.
See, that's the shit that the media needs to cover so that
Why would they?
Because
they don't even want to take my money. I want to advertise on all the mainstream medias. I want to give them what everybody else gives, and there's a problem even with them. We don't want this trailer to say this. We don't want that. We don't.
So you're going through the same thing we are, basically.
Listen. If you support that man, if you're walking around with shirts like this, and I got fight, and all that, and you're at Mar-a-Lago, you don't think people do their homework?
I'll give you very simple story of how these guys completely control everything. One of my friends was hired to do a photo shoot for a Kamala Harris event a couple of weeks ago. So he texted me, goes, look, I've been hired to do the photo shoot for a fundraiser here in LA. He's like, do you want to go with me as my assistant? I said, yeah, of course, I'd love to. So he says, look, they want your name and your information so you can come with me as my assistant. I said, of course, here's my name, here's my information. A week later, they call him back and say, listen, we don't need your assistant at the event. Why do you think that is? You think they maybe looked up my name or...
Listen, especially you. Let me tell you something. You know, both times I've been on here, you don't hold back. You pretty much go for the jugular. You know, so I'm guaranteeing they looked you up and your show and said no. You know, he's not welcome. You know, and look, you're coming to an event of ours, the premiere. You guys are coming.
Yes.
And
by the way, thank you for the invite.
Come on, no, you guys come on, man. We love you guys. And you don't think you're being even backgrounded by our own side? You got to be. I mean, I'll tell you this. He had absolutely amazing security in March. I've seen nothing. You guys can't take an Uber up to Mar-a-Lago. You got to meet at a certain destination. Like and you got to be checked by Secret Service. Like things have changed because they realize now, look, outside of what happened in Coachella with them catching somebody else with firearms, you know, there have been people plotting to shoot a plane down and things like that. There's been things plot that you don't hear in the media because the media doesn't want you to know about all that. Look, the media tried to say he fell on the stage initially when it was an assassination attempt. Trump falls on the stage was the first thing CNN put up. I mean, imagine that. I mean, that shows the kind of joke our media is a joke. Our media, why I created first this company and I brought like the Arthur Sarkissians and all these guys on is because I realized media is harmful and it's hurting our kids. It's hurting our humans' minds. It's a bad thing. It's literally, like you said earlier, saying the same thing over and over until people believe it. So why we did this is we're taking media back. We want media to be back in the hands and doing something that is unimaginable, guys. Telling the truth. Who ever thought of that? Report the news as it is.
What's the definition of a journalist? Isn't it to share the news from a non-biased position?
Absolutely.
Whether it's CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, Fox, none of them are non-biased. They're all biased. Fox too. I mean,
the kids took once Rupert Murdoch stepped down and the kids took over who were raised in what? Colleges that were indoctrinating and really changing the minds.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden Fox is the only, you don't have Fox. Fox is gone. Fox was gone a long time ago.
But I'd rather not them be gone. I'd rather all of them just report the news as is. That's why, speaking of the last two assassination attempts, if you ask me, I'm questioning the two, which the I don't know if it's the second one. Or there were 3 or 4 attempts, right?
Yeah.
Some say 4, some say 3. Let's say it's 3. The first one obviously was the one where he was shot in the ear. That's obvious. But then the other one at his golf course and the recent one at Coachella here in Palm Springs, those two, as much of a Trump supporter as I am, I question those two as far as whether it was an inside job. Because the one at the golf course, it just seemed kind of a little too convenient, if you ask me. And now, I don't know if Trump's camp is trying to ride the assassination train and be like, look, there's more attempts on me, and taking that road to vote for me because, look, they're trying to assassinate me, so this is why you need to vote for me. Some people may say, what the hell's wrong with this guy all of a sudden speaking against Trump? But I've questioned it. Same thing with Coachella 2 days ago, which Vam Wilson, who we're trying to get on the show, hopefully we can get him on any day now. When you hear the story of how he was arrested and all that, to me it just seems, taken into custody, it just seems
vague.
Not only vague, but also kind of scripted in a sense, where it's like, why was he arrested? And then now the Riverside, was it the chief of police or the sheriff, whoever he was, kind of taking his words back as to why he was arrested. To me,
the dots don't connect.
But that can also, and I hear you, but that can also be that they're so on edge that anything can trigger them as well. I mean, look, I will say this. I've been blessed for this year of 2024 to be in the circle of these people. And the one thing I can say, that the one word is genuine. They've always been genuine. I understand how, because I always question everything myself. I'm one of those people. But when you meet all of these people and who he has around him, I'm very, very close to his senior advisor, Lynn Patton. You'll see her in the documentary, and she tells great stories of she had a tough life. She was working with the Trumps, and she got herself into an addiction situation. And when people say Donald Trump's a one-strike guy, he's a one-strike guy on loyalty. If you're disloyal to him once,
are you not a one-strike guy? I am.
It depends in which cases. I also understand that humans make mistakes in certain areas. Loyalty, though, it's like the dog biting your hand. You don't trust the dog again.
I'm referring to loyalty specifically.
Loyalty, I'm a one-strike guy.
I'm a one-strike guy.
Everybody, I think, has to be a one-strike guy.
Especially now. I mean, that's why. Listen, my family. I'm surrounded by my family. That's who I work with. Why? Because I don't trust anybody else.
Very quickly, I want to go back to what we were talking about as far as the media and news ratings. So everybody buckle up. Listen to this. So we're going back to 2016. Mm-hmm. From 2014 to 2016, the media's ratings shot up 33%. From 2016 to 2020, and this is going to Fox, MSNBC, CNN, and ABC, media ratings shot up another 56%. Okay? 2020, news ratings dropped 69%. They had nothing to cover. Now, come 2023, this is last year, news ratings have gone up an additional 72%. This is viewership, basically. That is insane.
That is called the Donald Trump effect. It's a Donald Trump effect. I mean, look, you can't deny that the man commands attention. I mean, you see, Frank Stallone, who was in the movie. We had two people in this film. We had Hulk Hogan and Frank Stallone were two of the people. And they've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. And when you see Stallone, he does a bit which is so good. He's like, you see these world dictators looking at him like, Kim Jong-un. Everybody's looking like he's a rock star. But also on top of that, they know you get no free rides with Donald Trump. You're going to have to deal with him. And that's why the world was in order. I mean, when the guy gets on the phone with the head of a terrorist organization and sends a picture of his home while he's sitting in it saying, I can just come get you anytime I want. That guy's going to behave. I'm just saying. You saw it happen. I mean, and then you also saw a group of people pull out of Afghanistan in the worst way possible, killing killing people, our soldiers. I mean, we lost. I mean, and then saying no soldiers died on our watch. Had the nerve.
How many soldiers did we lose at the time? Was it like
13?
13 or 14 soldiers, right?
Yeah.
And we left
100. 100 or
no, it was 13 or 14
soldiers died.
And we left $81 billion of military equipment in Afghanistan, of which we saw videos of Blackhawks, bro, being, I mean, they were attempting to fly them.
It was like,
what do you mean? They did they literally showed what they took. And people seem to think that, the terrorist organizations over there are dressed with a towel on their head and all that. No, these guys are in full army fatigue. When you see real pictures of what the Taliban, what these guys look like, they're soldiers.
But you got to give them credit because they did have the student driver stickers on the Blackhawks
before they were crashing,
They were crashing it. But see, if you ask the Biden supporters, right, they're like, well, it was Trump's plan to pull out. Of course it was.
But how many people was he going to leave there?
0. His plan was not to pull out the way Biden did. Of course he had a plan in place.
He was going to leave 2,500 soldiers behind as they pulled out, and then eventually start dissipating to nothing.
Right. When I say 0, meaning 0 lives lost.
Right.
Not the way we did it with. Now they're what, like the 4th largest military in the Middle East, or
thanks to our
what else? What else happened with him not being reelected? Is you got a country like Iran that became more powerful, right? I mean, they became more powerful. I mean, they have all the funding they needed, and when you got Iran, you got Turkey, you got Azerbaijan, you got Afghanistan, you have all these places that now have power. They have strength because the money that was taken from them was all infused back into them. Now terror's back.
Look, I'll bring up a very fundamental example. We're all fathers here. When you're disciplining your kids, and you say, for example, if you don't do your homework, you can't play your video game. Or if you don't do ABC, you have to follow through.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now compare Biden to Trump. The best example of him was when he sat down with the leader of, was it ISIS, right? No, Taliban or ISIS, where he said, listen, here's a satellite image of your house. You mess around, this is it. So if you don't follow through with the discipline with your kids, do you think they're going to listen to you as a father?
No.
1 time, 2 times, you're like, it's okay. Just let them play video games. Because it's the easy
phase.
It's the easy thing to do, right? It's okay. Let them just, it's fine. They're kids. They're only 7 years old. They understand at 7 years old, at 4 years old, that my dad's not serious about his.
What do you mean? We saw how Biden disciplined his kids. There was coke in the White House. I mean, we got to see what his discipline does. I mean, they're finding blow and they're like, we don't know who it is. Okay, all right, we don't know.
See, that's my point. It's like you running a country is no different than running a company or your family. Of course, it's on a much, much bigger scale that none of us can relate to. But why did he run it so effectively is because he was used to running a multi-billion-dollar organization. Yes, this is a multi-trillion-dollar organization, but it's no different. It's just the numbers are much bigger.
Right.
So you have to stick to your word. When you say, listen, if you do this, this is what the repercussions are. You got to follow through. Unlike these guys, it's like, well, if you don't, when Biden said he was threatening Iran, he said, Don't. Really? You think don't? That's your message to them? Don't?
Yeah.
They're going to listen to your demented old... Come on, man.
Yeah, correction. Yeah. It was the Taliban, by the way.
Taliban.
It was the Taliban.
Yeah.
And people, well, he's too brass. Bro, you're running the most powerful country in the world. From all the powerful countries in the world, you have the least population, of course. And the whole world relies on you. You consume 2/3 of the global, consumption. Of course, you gotta be brass and you gotta set your rules and stick to it. You can't be like, listen, if you do this, I'm not gonna forgive you. Pero if you do it, it's okay. No, if you do this, I'm gonna
I know where you live. I'm gonna come after you, man.
Yeah.
That's how you get the point across. Yeah. That's why we never heard of ISIS, Taliban, none of this nonsense during his administration.
You had no wars. You had 0 wars. You had an individual, the president of the United States, sit in the middle of Palestine and Israel and sign a peace treaty, a friendship treaty, where it was, we're not going to kill each other, we're not going to attack each other, we're not going after each other.
It was also bringing in the Saudis into that as
Correct.
well, which was unheard of by any president.
Did you see how the Saudis greeted him?
Yeah.
The Prince of Saudi, the way he greeted him. The Prince of Saudi didn't even show up to when Biden arrived.
Yeah.
You had no war in Ukraine and Russia. There was peace. And in fact, I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago. Bro, I was in Mexico on vacation with the family. And our driver that was driving us to the hotel said, we love Trump. This is a driver in Mexico saying he loves Trump. And I asked him why. You know, what is it about Trump that you like? Because you're living south of the border. You're not in America. And he said, when Trump was president, we had a better life here.
Yeah.
The peso was stronger. We had more people coming in as tourists. I was driving everywhere. Work was phenomenal. Now, he goes, when America struggles, we struggle. And that goes all around the world as well. When America is struggling, you have chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
Just look what's happened in the past 4 years. Look at your receipts when you go to Costco. Look at your gas when you're pumping gas. And they say, oh, the president has nothing to do with gas. No, there's
But what about your favorite line that the economy, the Dow was stronger than ever? Well, we printed $20 trillion in the last 4 years. It's not real. What you're seeing is hyperinflation. It is so inflated. And like you say, people don't pay attention. Oh, I go here and I get eggs cheaper. That's great for you. Majority of the country doesn't have that luxury.
Exactly. And for those of you that do your date nights or even your lunch dates, look at your receipts when you go sit down with 2 people and you have a simple lunch.
And $120 for lunch.
Yeah. And God forbid you have a drink.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a drink, you're done. You got to take a loan on your house.
It's become ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really become ridiculous. And people need to realize that a presidency has a lot to do with those.
Yeah.
When they come in and they negotiate with certain countries, that affects us as well. And prices come down with certain things. There's a story I told the boys as well. We went to Costco. We bought the paper plates. I get home. I open up the cabinet. And I'm like, oh, shit, we already had paper plates. Oh, it's not going to go bad, right?
Right.
I stack it next to the other one. It's literally 2 inches shorter.
Oh, wow.
So not only did I pay more for it, but the quality.
That's low testosterone level. It's not the manufacturer.
The paper plate couldn't hold it up.
And it's funny. Armand was saying, was the count the same? I'm like, bro, the count was the same. The quality of the material has gone down.
Well, look at
So
the
is the
trash
meat.
bags.
Yes.
The
Yes,
trash
you mentioned
bags
it.
are ripping in my hand. Costco trash bags are ripping in my hand. That was never the case.
No, you used to love the hefty bags from Costco. They were always like the most secure. No, it's happening even with the quality of meats that you're paying so much more money for. I mean, these are the things that people don't pay attention. Why? Because they're not paying attention, like you said. They're not looking at these things. And it's a shame. It really is. I mean, God willing, everything goes the way it does on November 5th. And I really believe you're going to see action. The man's about action. He's action focused. That's what I say he is. He's action focused, and he's up for the task. He's up for the job. And people who sit there and say, he's going to get in and never leave, that's not true.
Yeah,
let me tell you something. Everybody who questioned J.D. Vance as his pick is going to be foolish in 4 years. Because I think what that man did in the debate showed that he's qualified to be here.
Oh, he was articulate. He was actually focused.
Yeah.
And you saw Tampon Tim question himself. J.D. Vance did a phenomenal job saying, you know what? I appreciate what you did here. I love what you did here. But your administration did X, Y, Z. All of a sudden, Tim is in like panic mode
He's
saying,
supporting J.D.
bro,
Vance.
he's like, wait a minute. I did something right, but the administration, wait, maybe he's got Bro, he was beautiful.
Listen, and Trump Kamala debate, people talk about, oh, he should have done that. Look, when you come away from a debate, it's sound bites. Who got the best sound bites? I'm going to give her one. Her greatest sound bite was 81 million people fired you. It was a great sound bite.
Absolutely.
His greatest sound bite of all was, well, what have you done in the last 3.5 years?
Yes.
Because there's no answer to that. His other greatest soundbite, which I thought was funny as heck, was, she's taking all my campaign slogans. I'm going to send her "Make America Great Again." I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Well, Biden almost dropped the "Make America Great" during one of his speeches as well. He goes, "We want to make America," and then he caught himself. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying "Make America Great Again."
Frank Stallone says in my movie, he goes, "Where did it become wrong to say "Make America Great Again"? I mean, you're an American. Why shouldn't it be great? I mean, it's just really odd that people have taken that and demonized it. It's just I'm amazed that they ran with that, and it's really, what it is. It's sad. I'm so happy I have a 24-year-old and twin boys, 19, that they don't have to deal with what young kids are dealing with now. I mean, it's sad, man. The schools and the TV shows. My kids, my kids got to experience so many things that are wonderful. Toys R Us, things that are wonderful, but also kids shows. I mean, I use the example. My daughter had Hannah Montana when Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana. Now what is Miley Cyrus? You know what I'm saying? Like that it's a symbol to sell to young girls now. And
demonic.
And you know what? It is. I mean, American values, it was so strong. It was such a thing that you guys remember. Look, my wife came here when she was 12 years old in the late 80s, and she was just amazed at this country. She was amazed by what it stood for and what it was.
From Armenia.
Yes. From Yerevan. She's born and raised, and came here and was just amazed. And when she got her citizenship legally the right way, they played Proud to be an American, and she teared up and loves that song till today.
You know how I see it, Josh? You've got disagreements in families, right? And sometimes that one family member who succeeds in life, the rest become envious.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they disagree with everything he or she has to say.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, the United States is one big family, and yet we've got this man who was admired for his success. The moment he stepped into politics, we became envious of him. And we started despising this one man. Now, when you have these disagreements in your family, how do you bring everybody together?
Listen, we still sit down as a family and have dinner, and communicate to one another. And I think that is a big missing part in this country. And again, I think it comes to cultural values that we've all had. I think Armenians and Italians are very similar in a lot of ways. And, having dinner with your kids, communicating with your kids, the new regime is trying to take that family and take it away from us, I feel.
But how do we, that's my question is, how do we bring everybody together? Because, look, at the end of the day, I think if you sit down with the Biden Kamala supporters and you say, listen, let's put politics aside. What matters to you most? I think I want to give benefit of the doubt to majority of Americans they're going to say, look, our country matters. Because in the shortest span of time, we've accomplished what no other civilization country has ever accomplished in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So are we willing to destroy all of that because of politics? Or can we as a family come together and in a harmonious way do what's best for all of us at the end of the day? And what is it going to take for us to have that conversation where both sides can agree? Because this divide is truly unnecessary. I mean, of course, there's always divide in any family. There's always that one guy, that one uncle, that whoever, everybody thinks, oh, he's a narcissist. He thinks he knows it all and all that. But at the end of the day, if you break it down, even that one individual that you frown upon still wants what's best for the family.
Listen, I have friends who don't like Donald Trump and they're Democrats, and we coexist. We're close. We're close friends. There was nothing to penetrate that. We were able to get beyond that and realize Josh has his views. I have mine. It's the way it used to be. It's not so bad. I'm not going to sit there and demonize them because they're not thinking like me. Everybody has their own opinion. We all get, we on this plane, beyond what happens after this, you get one crack at it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I can coexist with a friend that I disagree with. And that's okay. That's what that's what America is. Free will, free choice, everything. It's our ability to live the way we want to live, and I really hope and pray we can get back to that. I do, because it's the country's hurting. It's in a really bad place, and I really hope that we can get back to where it's most important.
It's like how we raise our families, how we raise our kids is nobody's business.
Yeah.
There's families that are Jewish, there's families that are Muslim, there's families that are Christian, there's families that are atheist. But I'm not going to a Jewish family and telling them how to raise their kids, or a Muslim family. And they have their morals, they have their values, they have their principles. And then I have my values and I have my principles. Anything that happens in your household should stay in your household.
Yeah.
Yeah, politics, they get in the way once in a while, but it doesn't mean we have to completely divide ourselves and become enemies. Living in Los Angeles, there's so many people who are Republicans, who are Democrats, who are independents, who are libertarians, but you can't judge a person based off of their political views.
Right.
Because there's a lot more to who we are than politics. And it's unfortunate that the media has done a phenomenal job infiltrating the family core and creating this evil divide where it's turned neighbors against neighbors, brothers against brothers, fathers against sons.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have to rise above that and know that we can't allow politics to get in the way. That's why we always invite people to our show who are the opposite political views as well. We say, listen, come and sit down and have a conversation with us. We're not the boogeyman. We're not here to basically gotcha. It's having a conversation and seeing that, hey, we have more in common than you think we do.
Listen, all these people, these podcasts Trump did, they all invited Kamala. I know it's 1,000,000%.
She won't do it, Josh.
By the way, Rogan has invited Kamala.
Of course.
As I'm sure you're aware, Trump is going to be on Joe Rogan's show.
Yes.
And he's also invited Kamala.
Of course he has. I mean, he's Andrew Schultz, the Nelk Boys, everybody invited. And the fact that you're running and not doing it shows more to me about anything else. Look, man,
there's no teleprompter, Josh. Remember, the teleprompter has to be centered so she can read off of it.
What about the earpieces?
Or the earpieces as well.
Pearl earrings.
Listen, man, we made this film, Arthur Sarkissian and I, the man you don't know, because we didn't want to make it political. It wasn't about politics. Does it come up? Absolutely, because when you start trying to kill somebody and things like that, things are going to come up. But it was very political. But, us evil people that support Donald Trump, as they call us, we're donating a portion of the proceeds at the box office to the hurricane relief victims. There was 2 hurricanes that devastated the eastern seaboard, in Florida in particular, and some other places, down on the east. And, what we do immediately is say, hey, man, we want to help, and that every group I'm a part of that's affiliated with Donald Trump, they all do that. They all somehow, some way give. They do something to give.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you see it. I see it. That's what inspired me to say, hey, you know what? Let's. This movie is not for us. It's for us to give something. And we're going to do that. And I think I think all the patriots are going to come. They're going to see it. I think when you guys see the movie, you're going to look. It's going to have different emotions. We saw people. I showed the movie to a big room full of liberals. And afterwards, they came up and they said, great film. We hate you because it's going to help get him elected.
Damn.
That's how powerful that's what you're getting ready to see is.
It's crazy, man. I hate saying this, but I wish we can go back to the way America was after 9/11.
Oh.
9/11 was a tragic event that took place, the terrorist attacks that took place. But it was the one time I remember in history where everybody collectively came together.
Yeah.
They didn't care if you were black, white, gay, Jewish, Christian, didn't matter. We all came together as Americans and we stood up and we were like, who the fuck did this to us?
Yeah.
And they're going to pay for what they did.
Yeah.
And who was the man who led that? One of the main people was Giuliani, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mayor Giuliani.
Where's he at today?
Yeah. He's
Villainized.
He's dealing with a
He's
lot.
been disbarred.
You're going to meet him. He's coming to the event, by the way.
He's been disbarred. I mean, that's what upsets me so much. It's 23 years ago. This man was a hero.
America's mayor is what they call him.
America's mayor. And now all of a sudden, because he supported he was a politician, obviously. But now that he supports a politician that you dislike, you've turned him into America's villain, really?
Yeah.
You forgot about how he united the whole country during the most tragic time in modern history.
On his 80th birthday, you serve him with court papers, and I mean, dude, it's really disgusting what the man's been through. It really is.
That's why it's like half the country has become so unrelatable, and I wish we can come together and break bread and have a glass of wine, beer, whatever their preference of drink is, and to just have a heart-to-heart conversation. Are we truly Americans fighting for the future of this country, or are we just here to see who it's a pissing contest to see who has a bigger, you know what? Like, yeah. I mean, that's what it's boiled down to, which I just can't comprehend as to how did we end up here. Of course, there's always been a divide, even if you go back as far as, during Abraham Lincoln and all the presidents after or before that, there's always been a divide.
You mean the first Republican president who freed the slaves?
Even so, yeah.
Let's start naming all the people who were shot in positions of power and what they stood for.
Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, and then Reagan was attempted. There's an assassination attempt on Reagan as well.
How about Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X,
Donald Trump.
Trump.
I mean, they all share the same values, and they went up against the system.
Yeah, and you leave the United States. Look at Gandhi.
Yeah.
See, it's sad what the media has done to completely divide the country, and they started with the BLM movement, the COVID movement. Look at how many branches of divide there are. Jonathan Isaac, who was part of the Orlando Magic, the BLM movement was going on. Everybody's kneeling. You have a black basketball player on the Orlando Magic refusing to kneel. And what happens? The media looks and says, whoa. What's that guy doing? Yeah. He's black. He's supposed to be kneeling for equal rights for the BLM and all that. And then when they ask him, he says, no, this is my country.
Yeah.
Well, this country created opportunity for me and my family. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this country. I wouldn't be playing in the NBA. Why should I kneel? Yeah. That flag represents me and my morals, my values.
How about that coach that was recently fired for wearing a Lebanon flag? Was it a football?
Oh, for the New York Jets?
Yes.
Well, the Jets. He didn't get. Okay, here's the big misconception. He wasn't fired for wearing the Lebanon or Palestinian flag. He was fired because the Jets were struggling. But on media day, he happened to have the flag on, and a lot of people are running with that kind of idea.
My bad.
Yeah, no.
Because I was gonna say when everybody was wearing a Ukraine flag, they got promoted. Now all of a sudden, this guy wears.
Well, if he wore a Ukraine flag and then the American flag, they might have looked as, you know what? Maybe we should give him one more shot. Maybe we should let him finish. We should let him finish the season.
Listen, guy, you wore the wrong flag.
Jeez. Well, can we play the trailer one more time before we call it a show?
Before we do that, Joshua, do you want to do one more plug, please, for the show? And also, Arno, care to mention where we will be soon?
Yes. Well, you want to do a plug and then I'll go in?
Sure. Listen, The Man You Don't Know in theaters October 25th. Tickets start going on sale October 16th all the way through the 25th. Nationwide, get your patriotism, go buy tickets, see the movie. You're going to love it. It's 88 minutes. It's a good ride. It's a really good ride.
And we want to thank you and the entire production team for inviting us to Mar-a-Lago to be at the premiere on the 22nd, right?
Yes.
And we're excited, bro.
I'm excited
to be at Mar-a-Lago with you guys and the Trump family. And
So we're going to Florida again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to Florida again. We can't wait to walk into Mar-a-Lago. We can't wait to see this amazing movie we got chills just watching the trailer.
Yeah.
I think we're not even going to hear a pin drop in that, or we will be hearing a pin drop in that room. I think that's the vibe I'm getting from that trailer.
Listen, and I've shown a movie there before that wasn't President Trump caliber, but patriots pay attention and they get emotional, and it's really, really awesome. And I think you're going to see a lot of patriotism. You're going to feel like you've never felt before, I promise.
And I'm assuming it's a black tie event.
Listen, you got to wear a blazer. It's a country club, so you got to come in with.
I'll make sure to wear my golf shorts.
I'll wear a blazer. I don't know about black tie. I look like a.
Listen, it's cocktail attire, so you don't got to come tuxedoed up. You don't have to.
Can I wear a MAGA hat or?
I think they'll be okay with MAGA hats there. I would recommend, they have a Trump store there. Stop in there and spend some money on merch.
Oh, for sure.
Are you kidding me, man?
I'm going to load up on my merchandise, man.
Yeah. I love Andrew Schultz. Trump's got merch. He does, man.
Yeah, he's like, does Biden have merch? Any other president? Because, look, before, what happened to our followers, man? You guys used to send me hats, and now I got to go to Mar-a-Lago to get my own hats, but it's fine. I'll do it just for Trump. I'll do that.
Jeez. Well, we're excited to fly out to Florida again. We can't wait to see the movie, and we'll give you our honest rating on it. And in fact, we'll actually talk about it on the show a little bit until it's released nationwide and people can actually go see it.
Thank you.
Other than that, guys, today's show was brought to you by the law offices of Armand Gregorian. If you're injured in an accident, you need an attorney, reach out to Armand. Cell phone number is 818-404-0333. He'll give you amazing results. He'll give you the right opinions, and he will represent you the way you're supposed to be represented.
Deggy Deseli.
Exactly. And also, the cabinet spot. If you're interested in custom cabinets, walk-in closets, garage cabinetry, anything that has to do with custom, or actually, you know what? Prefab as well. They do prefab. The cabinet spot, 1-888-495-0210. Tell Vic the WiseNuts sent you, and he'll take care of you guys as well. Also, the boys at the Glen Arden Club, thank you so much for allowing us to utilize this space. If you're interested in a membership at the Glen Arden, reach out to us. We'll connect you to management, and they'll take care of everything from A to Z. Other than that, Josh, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. You guys, I love what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. We need all the patriots on the ground.
We're fighting the fight, brother.
Amen.
All right, brother. Guys, today's episode will be up and running on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms mañana. Sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
The greatest threat the world faces.
It's destructive to our democracy to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. He has to be eliminated.
That he is a misogynist, homophobic, racist.
Eliminated.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look. You want me to tell you something about Donald Trump that the media doesn't know? How about this? He's a wonderful human being.
My father's a man who has a heart of gold, and it's the side that a lot of America does see, and the side that the media doesn't want you to see.
This is a guy running for president. He had no place else he would rather be than right there with his granddaughter in her pre-K class.
He's a very generous, honest, nice guy.
He's done a lot of incredible things for a lot of people, but he's not willing to take credit for it.
My only child, he was hit head-on by an illegal alien with 2 felony convictions. And I started to become suicidal. As I was telling him about losing my best friend, I could see him tear up. Donald Trump didn't just save my life. He helped me share my Dominic.
He is actually very relatable.
Hello, everybody.
When you break him down, he's actually just a regular guy. He's a great athlete, loves to watch sports.
He's a really good golfer. He's crushing hot dogs on the course.
What's your specialty today?
He's an all-American type person. He loves good casual food.
He does like his chocolate bars.
The deals we have with other countries are unbelievably bad.
He can't stand to see things not done the right way.
You should be rewarded for competence and capability in doing a job.
When you look at what he's gone through, them trying to break him, trying to kill him, he's still out there fighting.
This guy has been tested in every possible way. It's inspiring.
I'll call him on the phone as a friend and be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Unfazed.
He threatens this entire system of the corruption that is the U.S. government.
With all of these forces coming against him, not for a moment did he ever show that insecurity or fear that someone might feel when they don't know what's going to happen to them tomorrow. And that is who Donald Trump is.